The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. A Muntinlupa judge has inhibited himself from the remaining drug case of former Senator Laila De Lima. Judge Romeo Buenaventura granted the motions for inhibition filed by De Lima's co-accused Ronnie Dayan, Jonel Sanchez, and Franklin Bukayu. They asked the judge to bow out from the case following allegations that his brother, Attorney Emmanuel Buenaventura, assisted Dayan in executing an affidavit against De Lima in 2016. This development means that De Lima's case will now be raffled off to a new judge. It is not yet clear, though, whether it will be the new judge who will decide on De Lima's motion for reconsideration on her bail, which Judge Buenaventura had earlier denied. In other news, President Bongbong Marcos is staying put as the country's agriculture secretary. Marcos Jr. said that no one has volunteered yet to take over the post. Besides, the president added, there are still very important structural changes that he has to make within the Department of Agriculture. He also enumerated issues hounding the DA that need to be addressed, like food prices and the fertilizer crisis.
Tinatanong ko sa kanila lahat, kaya inaantay ko mag-volunteer sila mag-secretary, ayaw kong palisin eh. Pag iniwanan ko ang DA, by that time, we will have systems in place so that we can guarantee the food supply of the Philippines, number one. We can guarantee that the prices are affordable. And number three, that our farmers make a good living. So hanggat matapos natin yun, I suppose you will just have to put up with me as DA Secretary.
The chief executive also defended the Agriculture Department's policy to continue importing rice. President Marcos is confident that the recently launched Export Development Plan will eventually help the agriculture sector in more ways than one.
That has always been the case. Kaya kailangan natin mag-import ng bigas dahil ang production cost nga natin ay mataas. We just approved and rolled out the plan for the export industries in the Philippines yesterday. And that is something that we really have to be able to take advantage of, both for our markets, both for our products to markets, but also as supply for our importation. So bababa ang tariff ng mga iba't ibang produkto pag nag-import. Ngunit mababawi naman natin yan sa export.
Here's a heads up for all air travelers. Some changes are happening over at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport starting today, June 16. All foreign flights or foreign-bound flights of Philippine Airlines will now take off from the NAIA Terminal 1, while all domestic flights will remain at the NAIA Terminal 2. The terminal reassignment will affect flights to Asian destinations including Bangkok, Beijing, Tokyo Haneda, Seoul Incheon, and Taipei. PAL is urging travelers to be at the airport at least 4 hours before their international flights to avoid delays. Recall that the Manila International Airport Authority had approved the terminal reassignment in order to ease foot traffic and passenger congestion at the country's main gateway. We have more stories for you after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. This is still One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. President Bongbong Marcos sees the Philippines as the next export powerhouse of the world. The chief executive recently unveiled the Philippine Export Development Plan to boost the country's export industry that is now lagging behind its Asian neighbors. President Marcos noted that there is a lot of room to grow the export industry, with 49 billion pesos in potential revenue still untapped.
That is why we have to bring up our game, export game a little bit, and support our exporters so that they can compete in foreign markets and that they are able to be not only suppliers but also industrial consumers of the products that are around the world.
Meantime, the Trade Department believes that the president's overseas trips are helping to promote local products to foreign investors. Before the end of the year, President Marcos is planning to visit the United Arab Emirates for possible economic deals, as well as to attend the Climate Change Summit.
I hope that we will be able to attend, and beyond the conference of parties is that we also want to renew and our ties with the UAE. Ang daming Pilipino doon. Kaya't kailangan makatiyak tayo na patuloy ang kanilang magandang pagtrato sa ating mga kababayan sa UAE.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The Commission on Human Rights has thrown its support behind the SOGI Equality Bill. The CHR says the law against discrimination is long overdue. Recall that last month, the House Committee on Women and Gender approved the Consolidated Bill on SOGI, which stands for Sexual Orientation, Gender Identity, and Gender Expression. The measure in particular is aimed at providing legal protection for members of the LGBTQIA+ community. The tourism industry's contribution to the country's economic output went up last year. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority showed that the sector's direct gross value is 6.2% of the country's GDP in 2022. That is higher than the 5.2% tourism share to the economy in 2021. Experts attribute the increase to the reopening of borders and more relaxed travel policies. The Food and Drug Administration warns the public against the purchase and use of the toy Lato Lato. The FDA says it cannot assure the toy's quality and safety, since it did not go through the necessary notification process from the agency. Establishments have likewise been warned against selling the toy until the FDA has declared it safe for play. One News Now will be back at 5:30 p.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.